Hello and welcome to another episode of the Classical Republican. Today we're talking about unions, and I'm here with Bobby Hainline, who is a member of UFCW 55. He works at a local meat processing plant, and he also has a podcast, a sports podcast, the Dodger and Trash Show.
Yep.
All
Thank
right.
you. Hi. Thank you for having me. Sorry I interrupted you. This isn't scripted, so yeah, I didn't know when I should come in or not. So yeah.
Yeah, go. All right. Well, thank you for coming on today. So can you start off with the history of UFCW 555?
Sure. Let me just pull it up here. I had it and then I lost it. Let's see here. It started very recently. In fact, it says in 1983, Local 555 begins to form in Portland. Starting in 1983, the executive officers of meat cutter locals 143A and 1011 met with their counterparts in the retail locals. And it says here in 1985, an agreement was reached and approved by the members of all the locals. The international approved the merger, and Local 555 came into being. The executive board was formed with 5 members from each of the 5 merging locals. And speaking of merging, that's how they came to representing us. They merged and took over took over us from another union. They basically took on more members. Membership is pretty low where I work at. I believe there's only 13 members, and they figured the more they spread out, the more efficient or the more money they get, I guess. The more union fees that they get. Yeah. So.
Can I ask how much union dues are?
Yes, we pay as members $42 every month, and it's paid bi-weekly. Just comes right out of our paychecks. That was just approved at our last negotiation, contract negotiation. We were just having it taken out one time a month, and we just figured, why not just take it out of each paycheck? Half of the first 2 weeks, half of it on the other 2 weeks.
Over the last few years, have you seen union activity, or let's start with union membership, increasing or decreasing?
Decreasing. We've been having a hard time trying to recruit new members. Just only recently, the company I work for, they've in the past, they have not let union representatives onto the property. There was an issue with them. I don't know if you want to use the term pestering or bothering the employees when they're on their break or lunch. Some of them didn't like that, and they complained, and the HR department or whoever, upper management, just decided that they won't be allowed on the property anymore. Now we've changed that. They've gotten to know the shop steward, I guess you want to call him, and there is a employee building, I guess you want to call it, that is being built on the property where people can go to lunch or break, and that'll be ready sometime early next year. And our shop steward will be allowed to have an area where people can come to him on certain days that he's there. And so that will make it voluntary. You know, if they want to talk to them, then they won't feel like they're being harassed or bothered.
So when they were being harassed or bothered, that was that just for the purpose of recruitment or other types of activity, or?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, you know, people have different ideas on you know, what harassment is, and you know, I could go up to somebody and say, "Hi, how are you doing?" And you know, they might, you know, take that the wrong way and feel like I'm, you know, getting into their own personal private space or whatever. You know, I'm not gonna lie, we have some cranky people that work there. You know, some people that, you know, I you know, don't get along with every day, and you know, I just, you know, it's better just to leave them alone and you know, let them go about their business. So yeah, um, I don't, you know, I don't know what happened. I don't know, you know, if they were being bothered or harassed. You know, it's, you know, I just think that there is a negative attitude toward the union in our facility, and hopefully we can work on changing that.
Very good. How do they? Oh, speaking of dues, you mentioned. Have you ever voted on the due amounts?
No, I have not. As far as I know, we've never had a vote on that. So, yeah, I don't even know how they came up with that amount, but you know, it's, you know, it's, you know, it's an affordable amount. I mean, I make pretty good money, so you know, $42 a month isn't going to kill me.
Have you been involved in a union election?
I have not. I believe the only union election we had, we were working pretty late that day, and I've never heard of any of the people on the ballot. So it's almost like, you know, it's like, oh, what am my vote won't count anyway, you know. And I had no idea who these people were. So, you know, I just figured that, you know, it's not going to hurt me to just kind of, you know, skip that.
Did they didn't live in the area then?
No. I believe the people that were running were from, I believe, like the Boise, Ada County area. Yeah. Yeah. I unfortunately have not got to meet a whole lot of people except for the shop stewards and maybe a couple, the negotiator, the main negotiator that came down from Washington. Yeah.
Okay. And does the shop steward work at your plant, or?
No, he works over in Burley.
Oh.
Yeah, at the potato processing plant there. I'll just say that. So yeah, he's a good guy. I really he seems to have our best interests at heart.
Can you so my next question is how democratic is the union? And you could if you could also compare and contrast with the previous one.
Well, and you know, it's funny you mentioned democratic. I just realized during the last election, presidential election, that that the union is a huge donator to the Democrat Party, and I was, you know, me being a Republican and being conservative, I was like, oh my gosh, what have I gotten myself into? But no, I would say they're pretty democratic. They seem to listen to us, and during our negotiations, our contract negotiations, all of our suggestions, ideas, they were put into action. And I really appreciated that. You know, because when I first agreed to be involved in contract negotiations, I was thinking, like, I can't even negotiate with my wife. How am I going to, do this? And they assured me that it was, all easy, and it was just 2 days of me sitting in a room and trying to trying to improve the how do I want to say this, to improve our working environment. Let's just put it that way. Yeah.
So how many people were in the room? So your management would be there.
Yeah.
Steward.
Yeah. There was two other union people with me, or that are employed with me, and we had our negotiator and shop steward. So we had 5 of us on the union side, and we had about, oh my gosh, I want to say about 10 people on my employer side. We had the owner, and we had his attorney, and we had somebody taking dictation, and then we had the president of the company and the vice president, and yeah, it was a little intimidating. I'm not gonna lie, but I think we got a good contract right now, and yeah, I know that I've heard from a lot of the employees about how much they like the raise that we negotiated for them.
So you said that the let's see. Well, on the ballot on the last election, you have the people who are running for offices. Was there anything else on the ballot?
Not that I can remember. I think it was just a very brief ballot. It was only for officers, and yeah, I can't remember anything else. We also voted on the contract. That was the last vote that we had too, and it was a unanimous vote. And so yeah, it was just a yeah, as far as our contract vote for it was just, you put the little slip in the box, and I read all the votes out loud, and yeah. So anyway, yeah, it was just pretty simple, and yeah, nothing exciting.
Does it cost anything to have an election?
Not that I know of. No,
okay.
I don't think so.
What do your dues pay for? What do they go toward?
Well, our dues does pay for the operation of the union, I'm sure. I know that when our negotiator flew out, he said that the amount of members that we have right here, there were so few that they were actually losing money by flying him out and putting him up in the hotel. And he also bought me and another gentleman dinner that night to show thanks for helping with the negotiations. And then after the vote, we all went to Buffalo Wild Wings, and he paid for that too. So yeah, I mean, yeah, it pays for the whole operation of the union goings on, and when I called the union, I had a little issue with. I know I had COVID at one time in October, and I had a question for our shop steward, and I called the main number for the union in Oregon, and somebody answered the phone. So I'm sure our dues help pay for her too to answer that phone.
So you you have you had a previous union that was over your workplace. So how is that? How would you compare and contrast those that one and the current one?
The current one is more they're just a better run organization, I believe. Our last union, I wouldn't hear from them for months about any type of meetings, union business. I heard from them it was about a month or two before I knew about the merger, and it was just to see about. They said negotiations were coming up, and they wanted to know what we felt about a certain health insurance policy that they were going to try and get for us. They were going to try and bring that up in negotiations, and it never got approved, unfortunately. But hopefully, my company will consider it next year, because it will save us quite a bit of money if everything is true about this. So yeah.
When there's a union merger, who's involved in that? Is that just the leadership, or is everybody involved in that?
I believe everybody is involved in it. Yeah. I know they had a couple of people. They also had I guess you could call it a pizza party at Idaho Pizza Company for us one night to talk about the contract negotiations coming up. And so, yeah, I met a lot of people, a lot of new people I had not met before. So yeah, it was, and they were all great people, very friendly, very informative, probably more informative than I am. But no, yeah, it was really warm and welcoming, and I felt really good about staying, in the union, when there were times when I was kind of thinking, like, maybe it's better that I just, get out of the union, because I don't think they were doing anything for me.
Do you think COVID had any impact on you? I mean, on your workplace and union activity?
Oh yeah, definitely. I know we've we've had a few people leave at one time or another. Some union members quit, and but it's the thing right now is nobody wants to work. People are shorthanded everywhere, and we're trying to get people into the door that want to work, and some people show up for a couple of days, the work's too hard for them, and they quit. But I'm hoping that we get some people that do want to work hard. I mean, our job is not an easy job, it's a lot of long hours, and it's hard work, but and at the end of the day, I think it's really rewarding doing what we do, and providing a service to the public like we do.
How much do you attribute to unions your pay and benefits?
Well, Well, how? I'm sorry. How you mean attribute? Like
Like if there was no union, where do you think?
Oh, yeah. Okay, gotcha.
How much different would it be?
Oh, you know what? I think it would be very different because when we were in negotiations, the company offered us a raise. It was a I don't want to I don't know if I should get details or give details, but what we counter offered was well, actually, I'm not going to even go that far either. Well, the raise that we ended up giving was much more than the raise that they first offered. So yes, I think the union was a good thing. I think they are good for the employees. I think if we had more people involved in the union, I think that we could get even more benefits, even better benefits, as long as the company knows that there are. Well, you've heard of the saying, "There's power in numbers." If we can get our membership numbers up and know that there's more people standing behind us, then I think we definitely would have more. I am terrible with words right now. I think we definitely have more negotiating power. Definitely.
Okay. Right. I think that's all the questions we got now. Is there anything else you want to add?
Yeah. Well, I just would like to explain why I got into the union. Now there was a time. Actually, I'll just come out and say it. My wife and I were at a local restaurant. I'm not going to name names. I don't go there anymore. But we had sat down. We were going to go to a play at CSI that my stepdaughter was in, and or not her boyfriend was in. I'm sorry. And so we decided to stop at this place for a quick dinner before the play, and we had ordered our meals and our drinks, and we waited for 45 minutes, and our food never came, and we were going, we were going to be running late if we didn't go very soon. So I just went to the waitress and said, I'm sorry, we've got to get going. We got a play starting in like 20 minutes. I'm very sorry. And they said, okay, not a problem. We'll cancel your order. And they gave us the drinks, on the house or whatever. And so the next day, I wrote a review on Facebook, and I said, I didn't think it was that bad of a review. All I said was that we waited there for 45 minutes. Our food never came, and we might be back. And when you say we might be back, hey, we'll probably be back. If we have time. I still wanted to try the food there because I really liked their mushroom Swiss burgers at one time. So about a couple days later, I get called up to the president of the company's office. And I'm thinking, well, this is weird. And he said that one of their customers had called them and told them that one of our employees wrote a negative review about their business on Facebook. And they were threatening to cancel their contract with them. And I'm like, what negative review? I mean, I was totally dumbfounded. And they said that I broke some sort of non-disclosure clause in the in my employee contract or handbook or whatever you want to call it. And I thought for a second there that I was going to get fired. I didn't get fired, thank goodness. But I said, I had no idea that this was a violation of some non-disclosure. I thought that on my private time, I could say whatever I wanted, freedom of speech. Let me just say, if you're owning a business and somebody leaves some constructive criticism on your page or on your Yelp review or whatever, just you can correct those things. You can make your business a little bit better. So I don't think you have to check that person's info, go to find out where they work at, call their business, their employer up and threaten to get you fired or something just because you weren't happy with their service. I mean, I don't think that's, I think that's ridiculous. So, I was like, if only I had somebody there to fight for me, if only I had somebody there to argue my case, because I am not going to argue with the president of the company. That I am just not going to do that. So a couple of people told me that that I was, there was, what I did was totally okay. There was no reason why I should have had to have been called up to the office like that. And to this day, I swear, to this day, and maybe it's my PTSD that kicks in when that happens. But every time I see him, I go, But anyway, it was then and there. I talked to my wife. I said, I need to join the union because with Idaho being a right to work state, I need to know that somebody will fight for me and somebody will have my back. And she says, I think that's a good idea. So there was a enrollment, what they call, I can't remember what they call it now. Enrollment gathering. Let's just say gathering at Centennial Park. And I went there and had some free hamburgers and hot dogs and drinks, and I signed my name on the paper. And yeah, that was I think that was about 3 years ago. Yeah, and I've been in the union ever since.
All right. Well, thank you for sharing your story. All right. So you're going to stay in the union?
Yeah, I'm going to stay in the union. I really like our leadership. I'm actually looking forward next year to being involved in contract negotiations again.
Oh.
So yeah, I mean, the great thing about contract negotiations is that even though I missed out on those 2 days of work, the union still compensated me for every hour, every minute I would have spent at work. They paid me for all of that. So
wow.
Yeah. So I can't wait to do it again, even though it was very boring. And you do sit in the room for a few minutes, and then you deliberate for 2 hours on your next move or counter offer or whatever, and then you talk again, and then you deliberate another 2 hours. Yeah, it's those scenes that they don't show you in those courtroom TV shows. So yeah, contract negotiations are they're not the most fun thing to be a part of, but if you're going to help your fellow employees and better their better their lives, that makes it all the more worthwhile.
Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate you sharing your story and coming on our show today.
Well, thank you very much, John, for having me. And let's go, Brandon.
All right. So you got the Dodger and Trash show. Do you have a Patreon or anything that you want to tell people about?
No, I don't have a Patreon. If people want to contact me, they can just look me up on Twitter at Dodgerman Games.
All right. Thank you very much. Well, you have a good night.
Thank you, John. You as well.
Okay.